everyone, Alexa here from the Homestead.com, and today I want to show you how to make homemade butter. Just went to the store and picked up some raw milk, so I will be scraping the cream off the top of the raw milk to make this butter. I like doing this because it's a nice way to get the benefits of raw milk, and the cream is usually really thick and really delicious, so it makes really good butter. I also have some cream that I picked up from the local dairy that is just cream. So if you're going to be making this, you're going to want a heavy cream. Now if you don't have a local dairy or access to fresh dairy milk, you can go to the store and buy cream. Try to find a cream that's really thick and heavy. Heavy whipping cream will work, although it's ultra pasteurized. So generally when milk is pasteurized, it's heated up and isn't as gut healthy, but if that's what you have access to, then it will totally work. And heavy whipping cream does make delicious butter, so we have definitely done that. If you've ever made whipped cream, it is basically the same process as making whipped cream, only you just keep mixing the cream until it solidifies into butter. So making butter is the process of removing all of the fat from the cream and separating it from fat to buttermilk. Your end result will be a very chunky butter, and then you're going to combine that with your hands, and then the liquid that's remaining in the bowl is actually buttermilk, which you can use to make buttermilk pancakes or anything else with buttermilk. We love all cream products in our house. We love heavy cream in our coffee. We love butter on toast in the morning and at night for sourdough bread, and just all sorts of things. I shared my sourdough bread recipe on this channel as well, so if you want a really good pairing with your butter, I suggest sourdough bread. It's that nice sour taste, kind of fluffy bread, and you just smear this butter on top of it, and it is so good, and that is what we're going to do tonight. Step one is get your cream to room temperature. Cold cream right out of the fridge, it's going to take a lot longer to separate the fat from the buttermilk. So if you can bring it to room temperature, it would be a faster process. I have done it right out of the fridge and it was really hard. I think the first time I did this, I was mixing the butter for I think 7 hours on and off. And I was also using a handheld mixer, so that brings me to my next point. You're going to want a stand-up mixer for this. I'm using this KitchenAid one, and you can use any stand-up mixer. I just wouldn't suggest using your hand mixer because you have to keep mixing for a long time and you have to go quite fast. And so if you want a really great workout, then that would be perfect. But if you want to be able to do other things while the butter is being mixed, then you're going to want a handheld or stand-up. So once you have your cream at room temperature, you're just going to pour your cream into the mixer. So this is what fresh dairy milk looks like. So fresh milk from a cow, when it is raw and not processed at all, has the cream on the top, which is so cool. So basically it's the fattiest part of the milk, the cream, and it comes up, and if you can see, there's a line. I don't know if you can see it, but that's the cream at the top. If you buy milk and you don't see the cream, and it's supposed to have cream, some milk from the store wouldn't have any cream at the top if it's been processed and it just says, you know, 2% milk or something. But if you expect there to be cream and you don't see it, just pour it into a mason jar or leave it in the container that it's already in and let it sit out for a bit. It could take a few hours to allow that cream to come to the top. Now, I do suggest that you pour it into a wide mouth mason jar, because then you can take a spoon and you can scoop out the heavy cream from the top. I forgot to do that with this, so this is going to be more difficult. Now, what I usually do, and I forgot, is I would pour about half of this quarter gallon of milk into this mason jar and then let the cream separate naturally so that it's really easy for me to then scoop out. The cream line got a lot smaller, but there's still more cream in there, so I'm going to keep pouring. You just want to be really careful you don't shake it. If you shake it, it'll mix in. So I think I got most of the cream now. So I can let this sit for a bit and you'll see the line will separate, or I can just use all of this right now in my mixer and then it'll just give me extra buttermilk, which is fine. This is some cream I had already in the fridge that I let sit out all day so that it's ready to go. So however much cream you have, you want to get it ready for your mixer. So then you want to turn the mixer on about medium-high speed. Okay, now this is the fun part. You're just going to let it keep mixing for a long time. So there are a few different stages that you're gonna see your milk go through. So first, it's just gonna look like blended milk. Then it's gonna start getting thicker and it's gonna look like whipped cream. It'll be tempting to stop there and eat the whipped cream, and you can if you want, but keep going and you'll get to butter. Now the stage between whipped cream and butter is the most difficult. It takes the longest and it is sometimes discouraging. You sometimes might think that it's not gonna work out, but every time that I've almost stopped making this, if I thought my cream wasn't good enough or it was not fatty enough or something like that, and I almost stopped, every time I almost stopped, it was right when it turned to butter. So don't give up. But this stage is the messiest, so you're gonna want a towel to cover the mixer so that it doesn't splatter all over your kitchen. Even with the towel, it will probably still splatter, so just be prepared for a little bit of cleanup. Okay, so this is very exciting. I was just doing dishes while the butter was going, and all of a sudden it sounded really watery. Now you know it's getting close when it sounds sloshy and it starts spraying everywhere, so I have my towel over my mixer, and if you can hear, it sounds like it's just mixing water at this point. That's how you know all the fat has separated and your butter is ready. Beautiful. So this is the butter and this is all the buttermilk below. Okay, so now we're going to clean and shape the butter, and you just need water, clean hands, and some space. Okay, so how I do this, because this is really quite messy. So I have my mixer bowl here. Now this has all the buttermilk in it, so you don't want to throw that out. You can use that. And then have a plate on the side, because that's where you're gonna put your butter when it's formed, and just get ready, because as soon as you start handling the butter, it's gonna be slippery and hard to wash off your hands. Then I have my butter right here, and then you're gonna need a bowl for your sink. This is because we're going to rinse this butter until the water that's in the bowl is clear. So originally when we start rinsing the butter, you're gonna see the water is kind of cloudy, and that's because there's still buttermilk in the butter. And it's important that we get all the buttermilk out of the butter because it will allow it to last longer in our fridge. So we'll dump this out and then we'll start over, we'll run water over the butter, we'll squeeze it until the water is clean, about 2 times most likely. You just give the butter a squeeze and you'll see already some of the buttermilk is coming out. I'm gonna bring some water from your sink and rinse it with water. Make sure you use cold water so that you're not melting the butter. Keep an eye on the color of the water and see if it's going from cloudy to clear. Okay, my water is looking clear now. I think I got all the buttermilk out. This is a very soft piece of butter. It's really hot here today, so this is what happens when it's hot. But it's actually perfect because it'll be whipped butter, and it'll be really easy to spread on toast and bread. So while trying to save as much of that precious butter as you can, just want to go ahead and transfer it to your plate. Yum. Okay, so now you have some really beautiful butter. So you can put this in any kind of mason jar or however you want to store it is fine. I recommend glass or metal, something that's not plastic. We're out of wide mouth, small wide mouth mason jars. This is a little bit too big, but I'm gonna put my buttermilk in here. So I'm actually gonna use this little coffee mug, and I'll just cover it with plastic wrap. It should fit perfectly, and that will allow us to easily scoop it out for toast and bread. This is also the time for you to add some salt if you want. You can put it on the top, mix it in with your hands. When it goes in the fridge, it'll solidify, make it a little more solid. And then of course, you want to save your buttermilk. And we are ready to make buttermilk pancakes. Alright, well thank you so much for making butter with me today. I hope you enjoy your butter and your buttermilk. Make sure you make some pancakes and enjoy the butter. This is a recipe that we really like to make, and it's a little more cost effective with better butter than we can get at the store. If you're new to my page, make sure you subscribe on YouTube and like on Facebook. Every week I post new farm-to-table recipes like this one and other homesteading and homemade natural living from our homestead here in Duval. Thanks so much for stopping by.